Silence. Are we thinking or are we waiting for something? Well, my name is Bob Gersh with East Coast Capital. And my topic of today is to discuss my experience when I just went to the post office. We had to wear masks, separated by 6 feet with lines in the outside of the post office area. And then the glass doors to the inside area had a message that, to paraphrase, said 3 customers in the lobby at any time. The number 3, and those who had a problem reading numbers, it's had the letters THREE. For those that don't know, and obviously some people didn't know there at the post office, that meant 3, and then in parentheses 3. Didn't say 5, didn't say 6, didn't say, well, there seems to be room there. It said 3 customers at any time. You could see through the glass how many people were inside in the customer area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Someone left, opened the door, and said to the people there, "Why are you waiting? There's plenty of room in here." People, maybe it's they can't see very well. I'm going to give them every excuse in the book. But the type was pretty large. I could see it from several feet away. Yes, I had my glasses on, but several feet, it was clear to read what it said. People don't bother reading, or maybe they just don't bother. Again, is it silence because it's just silent? Or is there silence out there because people can't think, can't understand, can't take simple directions? It's a tough situation, but you know, it's there for the protection of everybody. So why not take simple directions? I think we can count 1, 2, 3. We can look and see, yes, there's 1, 2, 3. And if there's more than that in there, why don't we wait until more people leave and we get down to 1, 2, and we're the 3rd? Makes a lot of sense, but it's not what's going on around here. And I think that part of the problem is that if people aren't doing simple things, then they're clearly probably not doing the more complicated things to protect themselves and their fellow neighbors. When it comes to doing what we do as professionals in the real estate industry, specifically in my case in the mortgage industry, I do try to count that 1, 2, 3 to protect my customers, my clients, both in the information we're providing and also making sure we provide the resources so people can safely be able to communicate with us, provide us with information, and make good decisions on the ongoing basis. I also received an email from one of my associates who's an officer of one of the clubs that I belong to, and I'm also an officer of that club. And they got a message from the recreation department saying that the clubs are indefinitely postponing any meetings until future notice. So they're not putting a time period on it, they're just saying there aren't any meetings. Well, this particular club does not meet regularly in the summertime. So that actually is pretty good, that being in the month of June, that, you know, at this point, we're not really overly concerned, but you got to plan for the future. You got to plan when folks that are up north come back down to Florida. And, you know, one of the things they really enjoyed is these meetings. But again, we are on a postponement. Plus, we don't want to have a large amount of people in a room. That, again, is one of the concerns and why it is closed. So my suggestion back to the officers that sent me the information and forwarded that email from the rec department was, why don't we go on to Zoom for our club meetings? Now, not as good as being in person, but can be done safely. We can also put some time and effort in and do a pre-meeting without the members, maybe just with the officers, for the purposes of testing it out, make sure it's all working, and have it organized so when we do have a meeting, it's like a rehearsal meeting is taking place. And it's like, you think when you watch a lot of TV shows or go to a movie or do anything or see a CD or a movie at your home, that they took one take of that show. Probably more of that show ended up not being shown than was shown. And they probably did it multiple times. And these are professionals. So as an amateur, in being able to present information, I think I would say that I'm a professional at what I do, but not as a provider of things like this video. But what I can say is that the more times you do it and you think and you plan beforehand doing it, the better you get and the better you can provide resources for your customers. So I'm not putting a sign outside my front door saying only 3 visitors or customers at a time. I'm actually saying, let's try alternatives and bring that down to most everything can be done without being face-to-face, so that it is a rarity when we do that, unless it is something that the customer absolutely wants, in which case we figure out how best to make it safe for everybody involved. So I feel comfortable going to the post office because they have rules and regulations and they have lines on the floor, where to step, how many people should be in there. It's tough to get all the customers, although they are wearing masks at this point. And so that's a good thing. But we're now looking at, if we have to be at something that an event for whatever time period, although we want to limit it for our protection, for the consumer's protection, for everyone's protection, we have ordered additional masks so that we have them. And if we're at some event, we want to make sure we have some to be able to hand out to anyone that may have forgotten or didn't think about what happens by having them. So we're trying to plan ahead. And again, I think I can count to 1, 2, 3. I'm hoping that maybe more people in the outside world can. We're trying to get information. Sometimes we have to use the post office to mail out packages of information to others. And if that's the case, then again, we're trying to do it in an intelligent manner. Not go to the post office multiple times during the week, but we'll go once and have everything we need planned ahead of time. So again, let's practice our numbers. Our kids spending time on Zoom, learning their numbers. Let's join them, and then I'll have less things to talk about, but that's okay. But I think people have to learn and read and pay attention and think about things. And if there's silence on the recording, maybe that's intentional. Maybe we're just trying to think of what we're going to do before we do it. Or just don't have anything to say and think because we're not paying attention to what's going on. And so I'm hoping it is that we're just trying to think thoughtfully. So again, Bob Gersh with East Coast Capital, and hope you're well. Hope your family's okay. Everything's going all right. Try to stay safe. If I can do anything for anybody, let me know. That's why we're here. And for a lot of us, hopefully at some point in time, we see ourselves safely around a closing table. Again, Bob Gersh, East Coast Capital. Have a great day and a great rest of the week.